don't even pick me, you get stuck with me.
You're too much too quick, he'll bite too hard.
He's gonna bite, bro. I'm telling you, Tom is the easiest person to bite.
He doesn't quite understand that if he bites, the worse he's gonna get.
I think Olivia made the right choice. I think Keenan, as I said yesterday, I highly recommended that she pick Keenan and Claudia. So I'm happy they're the ones that she chose to be the couple to be booted out of the villa, because they didn't have a connection. They were just a friendship couple. So I'm happy with that. And I don't know. We'll see how that plays out. With Tom getting upset, that was nothing. I think he got upset because of the person that was taunting him. It wasn't because of what was said. I think he got upset because it was Shaq who said it and not Casey. Anyway, hey there, thanks for stopping by. It's your girl Valerie. Welcome to my channel. If you're new to my channel, please don't forget to subscribe, leave a like and a comment. And in this episode, I'll be reviewing Love Island, Season 9, Episode 46. So the episode begins with Olivia and Maxwell after, obviously, they've been told they're going home, and now Maya tells them that they have to decide which other couple goes home between Casey and Rosie and Claudia and Keenan, Shaq and Tanya. I knew, because Olivia's always seemed to be close, or always seemed to have a lot of chats with Tanya and Shaq, the chances of her sending them home, I knew were very unlikely. And I don't get why people on Twitter were saying, oh, Tanya and Shaq should go home because they found each other. No, Sammy and Tom have found each other. Ron and Lana have found each other. Will and Jesse have found each other. Why are people not campaigning for them to go home? They've all made mistakes just like Shaq and Tanya, so I don't get all this Shaq and Tanya hate. If those other couples can stay in the villa, Shaq and Tanya deserve to stay in the villa. They also deserve the opportunity to be in the running to win. That's my opinion. Anyway, so Olivia and Maxwell sort of sit down and chat, and they understand that Shaq and Tanya really like each other, according to them. And I didn't see Maxwell, regardless of the fact that he was close friends with Martin, I didn't see him sending Shaq and Tanya home. So it was then between Casey and Rosie and Keenan and Claudia. They eventually settled on Keenan and Claudia, and I'm happy for that, because I think Keenan and Claudia were going to continue to be very toxic had they stayed in the villa, because they were going to continue to try and be in this square with Rosie and Casey and make it difficult for Rosie and Casey to get to know one another. So I'm happy they've gone home. They were in a friendship couple. This was about a couple that the viewers felt was not compatible, and they were not compatible. I'm surprised that they were the ones that were not in the bottom that were made to decide, or maybe the producers just wanted Olivia to get the power to say who goes home, because they didn't think that Claudia and Keenan would make the right decision. Anyway, so everybody's upset and they're crying. Obviously, Sammy was going to cry because she was very close to Claudia. And Jessie, I really didn't see her. And so I'm a bit sad that now that those four people have gone home. Yes, they were toxic, they were messy, they were everything you hate about reality TV, but at least they made the show entertaining, and I'm concerned as to who's going to be the villain. Everybody goes back to the villa. They're still mourning the loss of Olivia and everybody else. And Shaq does say he was very close friends with Olivia out of all the girls, so he's really going to miss her. Everybody else is just moping around. So everybody wakes up in the morning, they go to do briefing, and people are talking about, even in the bedroom, they're talking about Olivia leaving with Claudia. They did speak about Maxwell and Keenan, but not as much. And I think because Olivia was one of the original girls, and because of all the drama that she was involved in, they all understand that big personalities have left, so it's going to be a bit quiet. Tom says he's going to miss Claudia because she reminded him of home because of her accent. And even Casey acknowledges that, Claudia was a big part of his journey. So he is going to miss that. And it's sad that, they're left on a bad note. Their last conversation was them arguing. And then Kai lets the boys know, and Sana lets the girls know that they are exclusive. And it's so sweet. I really like their excitement when they talk about each other, how excited they get, how giddy they become. After debrief, Kai makes Sana breakfast, a bowl of cereal with granola, it looks like. And he's really fishing for an I love you. I think Kai has fallen in love because at the beach party he was trying to fish for an I love you and she went, I really, really like you. That's when they agreed to be exclusive. So he's really fishing for an I love you. And so now I keep saying, no, that's a big word for me. I really have to mean it to say it. And I don't want to say it for the other person to turn around and say, well, I'm not really in love. So I really like you. They're looking forward to life outside. I like their relationship. I like how Sanam brings the joy out of Kai. And because she's so calm, it sort of settles him. He's not constantly anxious or agitated because he's trying to sort of pacify her or settle her down. She's just easygoing. And because he is a calm character as well, I think this is why they get along quite well. So everyone is talking about, the bottom four. Casey and Rosie are happy to still be in the villa. They are aware that as a new couple, the chances of them being in the bottom are very high. And so they are a bit relieved in the sense that they can now be affectionate and they don't have to worry about Claudia. And I think it's now more comfortable for them because, as I said before, Claudia and Keenan's job was always going to be to stress them out and to try and separate them. So I am happy those two people are gone because all they seemed to do was Claudia was always going at Casey and Keenan was always sort of running in between Rosie and Casey, sort of gossiping. If he speaks to Claudia about to Rosie about something, you'd run with it to Casey, and then like the conversation about him saying he was interested in her, or the issue of him running back to Claudia and telling Claudia that Casey said he had kissed Rosie, even though Casey had asked for permission. The other guys, if they felt like he should say anything. So I'm happy those two are gone, and I'm happy that Rosie and Casey have this opportunity to get to know one another. I think they really like one another. I think they really do, and it's sad that they're always going to be overshadowed by this Claudia uh, cloud because of how things played out. Um, Jesse and Will are talking. Jesse is saying that she would have been very upset if Olivia had stayed and Claudia had gone home. And it's like, why? Why would you be upset? As I've said before, I don't care about Jesse's opinion. Jesse is just a guest because she came in as someone who's already done this before and she knew what she was doing because she knew the audience liked Will and the chances of Will being in the bottom are very unlikely. So she wasn't worried when they said there was a bottom four. She knew she was always going to be safe because people like Will, and I don't know what it's going to take for people to realize that she doesn't come across as genuine as she likes to play out, in the sense that some of her traits, like how she behaved after Claudia shouted at Casey yesterday, given the fact that the day before she had just been apologizing to Casey and they'd made up, I didn't get that. And the fact that she's still talking about Casey and how she felt it was good that Claudia gave Casey a piece of her mind, I didn't like that, because if you make up with someone, that means you're moving on. So why continue to drag that person and say bad things about that person behind their back? I don't like that. Shaq sort of tells Ron that he's not worried about being in the bottom four because he has found Tanya, he knows what he has with Tanya, and he's happy with that. And so I think he was more or less saying that he's happy to leave with Tanya if the worst comes to the worst. And I didn't get that bit. And then sort of Tanya and Shaq have a conversation and she says she's not really stressed about, being in the bottom four because she knows what she has with Shaq, and she knows how she feels about him and how he feels about her. So she doesn't really worry about being in the bottom, which is good. So Ron receives a text message to say that there is sports day, and Will and Jesse are the ones that are going to pick the teams because they're the team captains. And I wasn't really surprised that Tom was first round draft pick because he's an athlete. I think he's a football player or something, and so I wasn't surprised about that. Although I was surprised that Kai wasn't um Will's first pick. I'm really shocked by that. I would have thought he would have been his first pick because he works part time as a PE teacher, and even Kai said that I get paid to do this anyway. Will then chose his team, and so that was the last pick, and she went, you didn't even pick me, you were stuck with me because she was the last one to be chosen, and I'm surprised she was the last one to be chosen. I thought she was more fit, or maybe they don't even see her exercise or do anything active, so they were like, nah, let's leave her till last. But anyway, so on her team, Jessie has Kai, Sammy, Tom, Tanya. I didn't see who the last one was, and Will has Shaq, Casey, Lana, and Sanam. Ron is the last member on Justice team. Sports Day had me in tears because you could tell why Senamos she was in last, because she was really terrible at all the sports. I don't think I think the passing down the water balloon was her best activity. Otherwise, everything else, swimming, she was terrible. Against bush, she tried her best. And so they did, I think, at one point were tied, and then eventually they had the bin bag, so throw the bag race, and um Will's team won, and I think Will's team won because they were taunting the other team, and the other team was sort of thrown off their game, because I think Will's team knew they were the weaker team, and because they were the weaker team, they had to do something to win, and they threw um Jess's team off their game by sort of taunting them and teasing them. And once they won, oh my god, they went overboard. And I know they're very close, and they're very close friends with Tom and Kai. But Kai is very easygoing. He's not easily phased, but Tom is. And given how Tom reacted the last time somebody teased him when Zara called it, yelled at him, I don't think this was a good idea. When they, after the games, when they go to get ready, he does tell the guys that no, that's enough. Yeah, you're walking a fine line. And I'm about to lose it. And at one point, they seem to sort of understand, but in true boy fashion, Casey is the one who instigated it, because he said it's time to poke the bear. And Casey is very close friends with Tom. So I don't think if Casey sort of winds Tom up, he will be as upset as he would be if it was anybody else, if it was Shaq or Will. During the toast, Will has to sort of poke the bear again. He has to talk about where the winners. I want to thank. He thanks his team individually, calls out their names, and he toasts to the losers. And Kai was just laughing because Kai, I think, is a very easygoing guy. He doesn't like drama. He said before he doesn't like confrontation. So he took it lightheartedly, but you could tell it was starting to grind on Tom's nerves. Ron is not really bothered because he didn't do that great in the sport, so I don't think he's bothered by it. So after the toast, everybody goes to sit down, and apparently everyone is planning on poking Tom. They just want to see if they can wind him up, and then once he's wound up, they'll give him a hug and apologize. He is busy venting to Sammy that he's told them to stop. It's enough, and they're sort of trying not to sort of bombard him in one go. They're sort of trying to gently build up. Casey's telling Rosie. And I think everyone saw the humor in it. And I think maybe if they had brought in Sammy, but they were thinking that Sammy easily gets wound up as well. So they decided to poke both Tom and Sammy. Tanya and Lana have a chat because they're the only two OG girls left, talking about Olivia and how Tanya feels about being in the bottom. And from Tanya's perspective, she thinks she was in the bottom just because people felt maybe she was better off with Martin. I don't think so. I don't think so. People always loved her with Shaq. It's her behavior during Casamore and after Casamore that people don't agree with. It's not her coupling with Shaq. She is the main problem in their coupling, and I wish she knew this, but I think once they read text from the audience, she'll be able to realize that, oh, actually to spiral. I think, I don't know why Tom took great offense to Shaq sort of taunting him, because everybody there was taunting him. I don't know whether it's because he's not as close to Shaq as he is to Casey or Will, or maybe he felt, I really don't get it, because they were all doing the same thing, apart from the fact that Shaq called him, "You're a grown man. You need to, to calm down." And so I don't get why Tom was as offended by Shaq's comment, because everybody was taunting him. I guess it's that thing whereby, it depends on your relationship as to how someone will receive whatever you're saying, in the sense that maybe if Casey had repeated word for word what Shaq said, Tom would not have taken great offense to it because they're very close. But because he's not as close with Shaq as he is with the other guys, maybe that's why he was really offended. I didn't get why he was that offended, and I didn't get why he was that hot and bothered. It's just teasing. It's just about a game. And as someone who plays professional sport, he does know how fans can be and how people can taunt you into doing certain things. So if he's easily wound up by something so small as what Shaq and company were doing, I can only imagine what happens to him on the sports field when his fans are teasing him. But anyway, it is what it is. Thanks guys for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Bye everyone.